Hello, hello, testing. Hi, y'all. Welcome to Empower. How y'all doing? Woo! Thank you so much for coming. We are so thrilled to have you at our first, but not last, Empower HS. My name is Andrew. I'm the program manager for HS Connect, and we would not be here today without our wonderful CEO, Brinley. She will be stepping on the stage shortly. This is all because of her. She had one dream, and now, look, all of us are here because of her. So really, my heart goes out to her, and we all have to be so thankful for the work that she has been doing for the HS community, and thank you so much. So, yes. Before we welcome Superwoman onto the stage, we are just going to go over a few housekeeping rules for the conference. So most important of all, we are here to be a community and to learn, so we just want to be sure that we are respectful while people are presenting. Silence your phones, school rules, you guys know that. I don't think we'll have any problems with that. We also will be having audio and video recorded. We have a few signs posted throughout, just making sure you're aware of that. But just be aware that we will be potentially utilizing audio and video recording for socials and other things like that, which is why we had you sign the consent form. So thank y'all for doing that. Very much appreciated. And we just had lunch, so I do not need to go over that one. Breakfast will be served for the following days, so please come hungry. We will take care of you guys. We will be having dinner and a bar later tonight with a signature cocktail, so that is very exciting. And yes, we will have the Wi-Fi. We have the Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi password right there, but also on that corner of the room right by the door, we have it posted over there. And I am sure it is other places in the conference as well. If you have a question and you are not in here about the Wi-Fi, just find one of us. In general, find one of us in the purple shirts and we will be able to help you. And we are so excited to have you guys, most of all. Water behind the check-in desk. Please keep the food and outside beverages limited. We will be supplying you guys with all that. And I think I went over all the basics of housekeeping. We are very excited to have y'all. And I would like to bring to the stage the wonderful Brinley, CEO and founder of HS Connect. Woo!
Hi, guys. I am super excited to be here today. Sorry, it's making me emotional already. Damn it, Christina. You're right. A year and a half ago, we did the social media influencer workshop where we brought 20 of the people talking about, including Frank back there, talking about HS on social media together. And it was one of the first times that I've been around a group of people all having HS. And I organized it, but not many opportunities, like you know, present themselves for us to all be together. And that was absolutely amazing. And after that experience, I was like, this has to be done, but with all of the patients. And from that, that's where Empower was built. So my goal for everybody who has never met someone else in person that has HS, who doesn't talk about their HS, who hides their dirty little secret, is for you to feel comfortable and welcome and open to receiving all of the love that is in this room and from this community. It has totally changed my life, and that is why I want to give that same gift to every single other HS patient, to have the opportunity to be in person with people who understand you, that you don't have to explain yourself or worry about whether you drain on a chair. Nobody cares, because we've all had those same experiences. And it's so meaningful to find that community and see that the future is bright. There's life with the HS community, and then there's life with the HS Connect community. And it is vibrant. And there is a lot of good stuff happening for us, and it is our time to shine, and we deserve all of that. So thank you guys for taking time out of your lives, with your kids, work, everything, to come here. And I hope that you leave with that magic feeling that all of us who have been a part of the community have had a chance to experience. So, and thank you seriously to my team. These 4 people who are here running around like crazy are absolutely amazing. And then also to all of our crew and to our mentees, thank you guys too for showing up, for being part of the community, and for being such a bright light. And I hope that you guys who are here for the first time find that bright light and then can shine that for other people so that they also can see that there is so much light at the end of the tunnel. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, Brinley. We love you. We also have some other amazing HS patient advocacy groups here that I would like to introduce. We will be having the International Association of HS Network, Hope for HS, and Hidradenitis. And I would like to welcome the International Association of HS Network to talk briefly about the amazing work they do. And then we will go through the rest of them to talk about how they are supporting the HS community. So please come on up. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. It is great to be here. I hope everyone will enjoy this day. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what we are doing at IHSN. That's short for International Association of Hidradenitis Suppurativa Network. I am the founder and chief mission officer of the organization. It was established in 2012. We became a nonprofit in 2015. Our focus when we originally started was awareness and advocacy, but as years go by, it evolves more, so we're more into more mental health now. So I want to share a little bit what we do. We have student ambassadors, and those individuals promote advocacy in their schools and in the hospitals that they work in. They also just create awareness in their environments, wherever they are. We have the community ambassadors, and the ambassadors now have kind of shifted a little. We're now going into schools, high schools and middle schools, talking to nurses, administrators, and the mental health professionals that work in the schools, and middle schools and high schools. We have the one-on-one mentors, and these individuals promote advocacy. So if someone calls up and needs some sort of support, those individuals give one-on-one mentorship to those individuals. We have mental health advocacy program. We are trying to create a mental health directory. Also, we're trying to do some more things around mental health, which I probably just briefly touch on those later. I don't want to elaborate too much on that yet. We have mental health, one-to-one, community ambassadors. We also do a mindfulness meditation. It started off monthly. Now we're going to be doing it weekly, and it's going to be an afternoon meditation. It's a 37-minute meditation, and of course it's free. Upcoming initiatives. I'm only going to mention 2025, we're going to be doing a digital storytelling project. That's going to happen in March, and there'll be more advertisements and notifications about that. We're going to also be doing the students actually will be doing something in Chicago. They want to bring in physicians, primary care, dermatologists, nurse practitioners, and student residents, and have a one-day workshop. Yeah, so that'll be coming up also. What else? Mentorship, digital storytelling. Oh, yes. One-to-one, we're going to have it's going to be a 7-week HS coaching educational program. And it's for 7 weeks, and after the 7 weeks, we're going to follow the person or the participants for a year and collect some data on how the education has helped them. So those are some of the things that we will be doing and are doing at IHSN. That's it. And thank you.
Thank you so much. And next, I would like to welcome Hope for HS to speak about what they are doing as well. Come on up. Also, anyone speaking, this mic is for tall people. Please lower it to where you need to.
What are we saying here?
Just share about what you are doing. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Athena, and I am the very proud president of Hope for HS. So Hope for HS was founded in, sorry, again, the short people comment. So Hope for HS was founded in 2012, and what we do is offer support groups virtually and in person around the country. Likely by the end of 2025, I think we'll have 25 chapters. A couple are still in the launch process, so about 20 to 21 active chapters, and then a couple more that are getting ready to launch. Our primary focus is really the support groups and the spirit of connection, because like Brinley, when I was first starting out with my HS diagnosis, I didn't know what patients look like, and I didn't understand how badly I needed that power of connection. So I'm not actually the founder of our organization. I started attending our meetings and really fell in love with this community and how special patients are and how innately kind we are to each other. And I just didn't stop going to the meetings until I became president. So I fell that hard in love with the power of connection. And so our support groups, they run on the chapter model, and we've got them all the way from LA to New England. We let them choose if they want to meet virtually or in person, and we allow those communities to dictate, right? So LA, it's a little bit difficult to maybe get to an in-person meeting because of all the traffic, so they meet virtually. But then Detroit has a very large patient base and very easy to park at location, so Detroit likes to meet in person. We don't put the barriers on there. We really want our communities to form in a way that is organic to them. All of our virtual meetings you can attend. So if you are in LA and you like what Hershey is doing, you can come to Hershey. If you are in Hershey and you like what LA is doing, you can come to as many as you like. We do collaborate with HS Connect on the parent and the teen group, and that is the joy of our lives. So we're very proud to do that. But you guys are always welcome at any of our meetings, and we love HS Connect. We're so grateful for the work that you guys are doing, and we're happy to be here and support all of you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Athena. And finally, last but not least, I would like to, let me get this back up to my height. I would like to welcome to the stage Hydrodenitis and me to talk about what they are doing in the amazing work for the HS community. Come on up. Thank you.
Okay, this is way too tall. Give me 1 second. Hi, thank you for HS Connect for putting this on. We really appreciate you guys giving us a voice. My name's Jennifer. I am representing Hydrodenitis and me. We were founded in 2019, and we are the patient advocacy support group for Canada. So we're actually one of the few, so we're really happy to be here today. Our biggest thing that we wanted to let all of you know is we host a virtual support group the last Tuesday of every month. Everyone's welcome. Wherever you are, you can join. It's virtual. So, and our big thing we like to focus on, of course, is these support groups. So everyone has an opportunity to just talk and let us know how they're doing. And then we also like to tell everyone we're big believers in self-care, as most of us, I'm sure, all here are. And our biggest motto is HS is just a part of you. It's not your whole life. So, join our support groups and tell us how you're doing. And then also just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you love, what are some of your passions. But we'd love to see you there. So thank you again for having us.
Thank you all so much for speaking about the amazing work you are doing for the HS community. We cannot do it without each other as a community, so thank you so much, truly. And being here in person, it means a lot. So thank you all. We will absolutely send out all their information and some of the exciting projects they have going on in our recap email for the event. So thank you all so much. Right now, we are going to take a little break, exploring around, networking, make sure to meet people that are here perhaps for the first time. Some of us know each other, we've been in the community, but some of them, it's their first time here. We want to make sure that everyone feels welcome. And remember how you felt the first time that you came to an event like this, and give them that positivity and that light. And after that, we will at 2 p.m. do our Find Us panel, where we will have models that were participating in our Find Us Times Square coming out party, discussing their experience and what it was like to be on the biggest stage in the world. So thank you all so much again for being here. It truly means the world to us, and so happy to have you guys. Thank you. We'll be starting very shortly.
Hi guys, we're gonna get started really shortly, but I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that there are butt cushions on chairs. Those are not reserved. Those are free for all. So if you need a butt cushion, use one, grab one. There's only one row reserved for a family that's coming, for a young man who just had surgery. Otherwise, so I see people skipping the butt cushions, but those are available. Okay, we're gonna get started with our Find Us panel. We're super excited. So Nicole Williams, everybody, she is from UCB. She is the head of immunology advocacy, and she does so much work with HS. And UCB was the sponsor of the Find Us runway. They really support us so that we could put this on. And we're super excited. Come have a seat, y'all. Come on. We're super excited for. Should we get everyone mics? Actually, hold on.
I know.
Hello. This one works. Hello. This one does not work. Hello. Got it. Okay, this one works. Hello. This is our first conference, everyone. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Hello. Now we're working.
All right.
All right.
Now we're in business.
Ready. So, Christina, do you want a chair?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's gonna make me
Listen, I don't have
Just
place on my
sit there.
butt. Sit your ass down. Thank you.
scared. I'm gonna listen.
So, like Christina was saying, my name is Nicole Williams, and I work at UCB in corporate affairs in our patient advocacy team. And specifically, I work with immunology. So I have the privilege.
Whoa, girl.
Privilege and pleasure.
So my flight was delayed, and I was supposed to be on the 9:30. I didn't get on to the 12:30. So you can just imagine what my airport experience has been today. But I'm so happy that I'm here. I have the privilege of working with this team and a lot of the patient advocates that are in the HS community, and I just feel like I'm one of you guys. Brindley gave me a shirt that said, low-key, I wish I had HS. And I'm like, I'm
Yes.
here because I want to be an HS bestie too.
You are, Nicole. You are.
Oh, that is so sweet. But I have the pleasure, I was trying to say privilege and pleasure at the same time. I'm going to make up that word because I'm from Atlanta and that's what we do. But I know that you guys have been seeing this all over social media. You see it up here, you saw it outside. There was something on the iPad that was rolling. And who in the room was physically there? Okay, great. So we're gonna try to give you a taste of what everybody experienced that day. The energy was like so incredible, but we're gonna do a little recap of the event, and we have 4 of the participants that actually walked in the runway show, except for Brinley. You know, she's like, you know,
I
the
stayed
big
clothed.
boss, like, she's like the KPMG, the accounting firm that comes out like with the real winners. But at the end, and then who else walked in the show? I see Ashley sitting in the audience, Shakira, I don't know my glasses.
Hannah.
Okay.
Parrish.
Oh, Hannah. Okay, Parrish. Yes. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So here is Find Us 2025. And we're going to start with Brinley because she was obviously the vision behind this Times Square patient activation. So Brinley, as president of HS Connect, how did this powerful idea that you brought to Times Square, like to bring visibility to the heart of one of the busiest places like on the planet, how did it really come to life, and what inspired you to merge advocacy, art, and visibility in such a bold way?
Well, I didn't think about it like that, but thank you. That sounds beautiful. Originally, it started, 2 years ago, my very first project was the Beautify HS project. And I noticed that in textbooks and getting into advocacy, that all of the photos of HS patients never included a patient. They were just photos of a part of a body. And I often wondered, what does the person attached to that look like? And what did they feel when they were having that photo taken? And we've always been trained by society to look at our HS as a negative thing that makes us different and not beautiful. And I decided that it was time that we changed the narrative, and that our HS is part of who we are. It isn't who we are. It's just a part of that, but it's also what gives us our strength and our resilience and our ability to move through life the way that we do. And that is beautiful. So we photographed, which Frank back there was a part of too, the Beautify HS project, excuse me, in Seattle. And after that, seeing those images of beautifying HS, I was like, this has to be in Times Square. So I engaged a firm that I really looked up Times Square, called, found out how much it was, because I was like, how do you know if you could never be in Times Square if you don't know how much it costs? So I looked it up, was like, okay, not the money I have, but reasonable enough. So let's see what we can do with this. Engaged our marketing firm that I found out through them. It feels like the whole thing was kismet. They have gone so hard for us. It's been incredible, but they said, you can't beautify it yet because nobody else knows about it yet. So we backed it up a couple steps, and that was where the idea of Find Us was born, so that we could bring all of these things to a stage. It started out as just a billboard. With 60 days before the event, it morphed into a full-fledged on-the-ground activation. And if any of you know anything about working with pharma, 60 days is like no time. So I think that, there's a lot of teams on the pharma end that are probably cursing my name and never want to see it again, but damn, it was worth it. Yeah. So it was basically, like Andrew said earlier, it was our coming out party. We have been trained and taught by society and physicians to be shameful of our condition for so long. And it is time that that stops. It's not something we chose. We're not doing anything to keep our HS happening. And it's time that our condition is recognized and validated, and that we're treated just like another medical condition. And we can't do that if we're still carrying that shame. So that was the premise behind the Find Us campaign.
Woo! Woo! So saying yes to that moment, we'll start with Christina on the end. I'm going to call you Cece today since we got 2 Christinas up here today. When you first heard about the idea of the Times Square patient activation and runway show, what went through your mind and what made you decide to participate?
So since I was part of planning it, we were on the phone call with Brinley, Ryan, and I. I left Brinley and Ryan talking because they stay up way past my bedtime. And in the morning, I wake up to like, I think we're gonna do a runway. And so woke up with that idea, and I was like, oh my God, that's super cool. And then we're like, well, how do we tie in like the metaphor and like the humanizing the HS experience and more than just a patient? And it was actually my idea to do the hospital gowns. So no big deal. And put the messages on them. And so I was super excited because I thought this is so powerful. And I also thought if we're going to ask our advocates to do this, I'm doing it with them, because I'm not going to ask them to put themselves out there if I'm not doing it myself. And also to reclaim like so much of life that HS took from me, right? Because growing up with HS in Miami, which is like a half-naked city anyway, I was not participating in that because I was ashamed of my body. But, you know, 3 years of therapy and just getting older when like you have less fucks to give, I'm not ashamed anymore. And I was like, I'm gonna, for my inner child, I'm doing this. And so I was excited, and I was very nervous that our advocates would be totally freaked out, but they really showed up, and it was incredible.
Let's talk to the other Christina. The power of visibility. So HS, like Christina, Cece said, that it's a condition people often hide. What did it mean to you to step into that spotlight in Times Square and to be seen so beautiful and powerful and proud that day?
So for me, it was, I didn't know that I was going to be stepping on stage till like 24 hours beforehand, so I didn't really get to like process what was like happening. So for me, when I realized what was happening and what was going on, I told myself I wasn't going to cry. You started this.
Woo!
So for me, it was so empowering, and I gained so much confidence that night, and I didn't know what was going to come out of this, but I walked away feeling like the woman that I've always wanted to be that I lost many years ago. Thank you. Because I've lived in silence for so long.
But crying is normal here.
Yes, it is.
Actually, going to have tissues on this stage.
Yeah.
So that night, it really, I don't want to say I lost who I was, but I regained that confidence that was hiding for many, many years. And it was so just impactful and empowering, and I walked away with being proud to have HS for once.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Woo!
So Juwan is up here scared. He's over here sweating. I've interviewed him before, and he acts like I'm Barbara Walters. I'm like, I'm Oprah. I already made somebody cry.
Oh, man, I was trying to get over this, and now we just brought it to the spotlight.
That's how we get over it, don't we, Ashley?
We're working on it.
So let's talk about the emotion of that day. I know Christina kind of touched on that, but take us back to that day. The energy, the nerves, the crowd, the lights, the singing from Allie, who was
Incredible.
Yeah.
Allie!
Yo, Allie.
What was going through your heart, your mind, as you walked the runway or watched others take the stage?
Whew. I was like, well, when we got out there, it was a feeling that I couldn't even describe. I was doing something with my people that I never thought I would do. Honestly, I could only think that I've only asked for a day to be comfortable at the beach and not worry about my flares and not worry about being embarrassed. And then I got the call to say, hey, you know, do you want to go to New York and show these scars on the world's biggest stage? Like, I never thought I would get that call in my life. But I'm so thankful for that call. I'm so thankful that we could come out of hiding and allow people to find us, allow people that have been hiding like myself. I've been dealing with HS for 28 years, and I just found community this year. So for it to accelerate that fast. And it's like, nah, man, we ain't going to the beach. We're going to New York on the big stage. It was just like, hey, I'm just like, I'm down. My first thought, honestly, my initial thought when I got the call, man, let me call P. I got to call Paris. I got to see. If the Brotherhood doing it, then I'm doing it. Like, I don't care. If the crew doing it, I'm doing it. So it was just, I'm still on a cloud, on a high from that experience, as I'm sure everybody who was involved. I mean, even the people who weren't there. Like, you had to feel that at your house. Like, you had to feel that in the community. So, I mean, I'm still, like, I can talk about this all day, so I'm gonna be quiet now, but, you know, but those are some of the feelings that I had for sure.
It was truly incredible. And I think with Allie singing, it just brought even more people over to the activation. Because they were like, who is this beautiful voice that's over here? Like, it sounded like a Broadway show.
It did.
It really
was
did.
very appropriate because we were like right near Broadway. So, and I will just say, being a sponsor and taking this back to my company and saying that we need to participate and then having even more buy-in was so beautiful to see, because a lot of times they're like, no, we've had budgets, they've been set for, 12 months now, we don't have any extra money. And I was like, no, we need to really participate in this even more. And one of our vice presidents basically said that was one of the best patient activations in her entire career in pharma. And she's been in pharma for like over 20 years. Wow. So that just speaks a lot, and I was just so happy to be there and participate. So let's talk about that ripple effect. And I'm going to ask Christina and Brinley this question. After the activation, what kind of feedback did you receive from your friends, family, or followers? And did any response really stand out to you or surprise you?
I mean, the response is still coming in, which is, I think, the most incredible part. Comment sections on TikTok and YouTube and, Facebook. We had a comment yesterday on our TikTok of, I'm sitting in the hospital bed right now, feeling like a monster, and hating my body. And then this video came across my feed, and it's just what I needed, or thank you for doing that for us. It's just, we know what it means, right? On firsthand. And so for the people who weren't there, who didn't even know what was happening, but later were seeing it, to feel that kind of shame melt is everything. And even just at SHSA this week, we were, I was talking to Dr. Weissman, and this doctor from Canada comes in the conversation, and it's just like, such an exciting time for HS. Did you see that thing in Times Square? And Dr. Weissman's like, yeah. They planned it. And he was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And so the fact that people are talking about this in rooms where we're not even in, is doctors were presenting with pictures, one of all of us with the hospital gowns, at this conference. So the doctors from Mexico were talking about it. I mean, knowing that we reach that many people in showing HS Warriors without shame, and that not only not to shame, but that we deserve that. We deserve to be on a center stage, to dream that big, to have big, nice events. No more we just in the dungeon in the basement, we just deserve the limelight. And it's just beautiful to see the impact that it's had, and the way that it continues to grow, globally. Honestly, it's become a movement. Seeing the follow chain that started in the community with Find Us, that we didn't even start. It was awesome.
Sorry, you want to hold hands? It has become a movement, and damn it, Christina, it makes me both my Christinas. This one always says I cry too much.
Vicky Fawcett over here.
But it truly was so meaningful. And even though I didn't walk in my bra and underwear, I walked with my two kids, because Hannah and Caitlin, are the reason why I fight so hard to do this. Because I want them to live a different life with their HS than I did. I want them to feel free of that burden and shame that I carried for 27 years, not telling anyone about my HS except the people who had to know. And to watch these guys walk, I have never had so many emotions at the same time. I was screaming my head off, so incredibly fucking proud of them. I was also overcome by the joy of seeing them own it. There was not a person out there that was ashamed of themselves, and like that was one of the most inspiring things I have ever witnessed in my life. And to give other people that stage to be able to take that and feel that powerful was absolutely incredible, and I could not be more proud of you guys for going out there and doing that.
Amazing.
I mean, I don't have HS and I'm not getting up on that runway. So that was just so brave and courageous. Like, I just think about, like, who watched Sex and the City in here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Remember when Carrie was on that
Yes.
runway and she, like,
She
stumbles
fell.
and she just gets right back up? Like, I mean, I was thinking about that day. Obviously, we're in Times Square. Carrie's from New York. And, you know, just strut your stuff. And afterwards, I heard this comment a lot. We did that.
We did
Yes,
did
yes,
that.
we did.
So let's talk about that personal transformation. Let's talk about it with Dawn and Christina. But like after that day, how did it really change the way that you saw yourself, your confidence, or even just your personal journey?
I would say that my personal journey, it was enhanced that day. My personal journey in advocacy and just caring about the HS community, it really changed, it elevated, because I was able to see so many people that care about us when we got there, but now I see so many new people that care and understand or try to understand. And honestly, after that runway show, I got so many new cousins and friends that,
You're my girl ones now.
yeah, like I'm just saying, like so many people just came out of the woodworks because it was like they saw it on display and they were like, man, either I didn't know that you were dealing with that, like I didn't know it was like that. Like a lot of people had only heard of the condition, but once you see what we actually go through, once you see these scars and once you see these lesions and the care that we have to have, it puts you in a different mind frame, even my own family. So when they saw that, I was able to get new helping hands coming out of everywhere. You know, like people were open to say, hey man, do you need me to do something for you? Like, do you know, how you feeling today? I started getting more of those calls. You know, and it meant the world. It means the world because I needed these calls 20 years ago. But I'm happy to know that we're opening the doors for those who were like myself years ago who needed that call. They're gonna get them now, and that's a beautiful thing about it. So
Change maker.
Yes.
Christina?
I don't know how to top that. My goodness. No, he said it best. So that night, like you already could feel the love. Like anytime I step in with my people, like there is so much love. But after stepping off that stage, the love was so strong. And it was like, I could feel it coming off the streets. The energy was just amazing. And so like, it was very clear that we did do it. We made this huge movement. And it was incredible to just to feel it. And when I started posting it on social media and what was going on, like new friends were coming in. Like my phone was getting blown up. My mom's phone was getting blown up. Like she's like, you're not gonna believe who called me. And I'm like, for what? And she's like, no. Like they want to know more about it. And I'm like, but it's all on my social media. Like they weren't understanding it until New York happened. It was like, this is something. This is not us being quiet anymore. And so people that were calling in different states, calling my family, like
what is Christina doing? And it was like, no, it's like, we're all doing this together. This is what my daughter has. My mom's still learning how to say hydrogenated suppurativa, so she's getting there. Yes, all my family is, but it was such an incredible movement, and the feedback that I was getting, it was huge. And even like coworkers that I work predominantly remotely, and when I had to go in to work one day, the people that I'm friends with on social media were like, you were in New York in Times Square? And I was like, yes. They're like, girl, you killed it. All of you guys killed it. And I was like sobbing. I'm like, oh my God, did you just really see that? They're like, yeah, like we're watching you. And it's funny because at least 5 other people that I work with have come up to me and was like, I have that too. And then I just sobbed and I gave them a big hug. I'm like, welcome. Welcome to the community, you guys. And they have been reaching out to me and wanting to know more of how they can help themselves. So it was huge. And thank you, Brinley, again for doing this. It's been such a healing part for myself and for the community. Thank you. Thank you, my love. Did I get you?
You're good. Okay. So there's 2 more questions. This one's going to be for all of you, and it should be pretty simple. But if you could sum up the message of the Times Square activation in 1 sentence or 1 word, what do you want people to feel or understand when they saw those images and stories?
We're in order. Okay. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Now I can't think about it. All right. So, I mean, obviously the message "find us," right? And I think that "find us," there was a metaphor there of like patient to person, not just being a number. So many of us kind of feel like guinea pigs, years and years and trying different things, and we kind of get lost to the community, to treatment, we're just going through it. Like I was there. I ignored my HS for years. I was just like, I'm gonna pretend this isn't a thing, and I'm just staining and draining everywhere. No big deal. And that's no way to live, like. So the Find Us was like, guys, like we see you, right? Like you're not alone. Like you don't have to do it alone. And we know it sucks, but it doesn't have to, So find the community so we can get those resources and find what works for you. Different things work for all of us, right? Whether it's the mental health support that we need, or just coming to an event like this, or getting to treatment, or helping you find a new doctor, or helping navigate insurance, whatever that need you have, like we are really working to fill it because we know firsthand how it changes the trajectory of your life. And that's what Find Us was about. It was about like, don't do it alone, please. It really sucks alone, but like it sucks so much less when you're in our little bosom. So like, we're going to keep you.
Little bosom for some, not so little for others. I know. I think for me, the biggest point is everything you've been told up to this point about yourself, or that you've told yourself about you, has been a lie. You're not dirty. Should not be shameful. And it was bringing some of those misconceptions about this disease that other people carry to the forefront and saying, this is not true. And that we deserve to be seen and loved, and that we are worthy of all of those things just like anyone else. And for the longest time, we have been told that we are not. And for me, it was about changing the narrative to make sure that people knew that their worth was not tied to their HS, and that HS does suck, but when you find community, it sucks a lot less.
Love that, Brinley. So for me, I would say, honestly, just feeling loved and to love myself again. Yeah. And I think all of us walked away feeling that much more loved and loving ourselves again. It was great, and my word is loved. Yeah.
I love that.
After doing the New York event, I really just wanted all of the HS warriors out there to know that, oh.
There you go. We see you.
We got you.
We got you.
that's that's the big thing. It's not so much about wanting everyone to just step out in the limelight and just tell their story or let people know. I just want people to know that there are resources out here for us now. There are people that care. There is a way to help yourself. You don't have to tell the world what you're dealing with. Just make sure you're getting the help that you need, because this is not anything to wait around on to see if it's gonna get better, to see if it's gonna get worse. Like, you need to take care of this stuff now. I know what it's like to go from stage 1 to 3, and it seemed like a blink of an eye. But man, I want better for everybody around me. I want better for myself, but seeing other people do better around me, that's a part of my healing too. So y'all keep doing y'all thing, keep getting better still. Love yourself, love the people around you. Enjoy this community. Like, that's the big thing. Community changed my life. So I hope somebody's life is gonna get changed while you're here.
Yes.
But that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I met this one in Detroit. And I said, oh, you're in the family now. Like, he didn't know what was like ahead of him, but he knows now.
We got him.
And I appreciate y'all.
So last question, and I'm not sure we're going to open up for our audience questions, but this one's for Brinley. So just building on that momentum, like, what's next? So how are we going to keep this moving forward, carry this energy, advocacy, creativity into the next year or into the next century?
Well, we're going to take 5 days off after this because we didn't take a single day off after Find Us, and there was zero time for us to even like process. It felt like the entire event. So HS Connect is going to be closed for 5 days after this.
Don't call
We'll
us
get
back.
back to you in about 7 business days. The sky is the limit. I mean, this was huge. Like, for HS to be in Times Square, for us to have a billboard in Times Square, to have a runway activation, I mean, that was my dream, and it was done in 2 years. And that means that, like, the sky is the limit. So we're looking for other locations next year. We're thinking potentially Vegas on the Sphere. Yeah, maybe Moon 2027. I'm talking about that. I'm gonna call Elon and see what he's got going on. See if SpaceX is available. But our goal is just to continue the outreach that we have started and the movement that we've started in bringing community together, providing resources and being a safe place for people to come, no matter where they are on their journey, so that we can provide as much help and resources as we needed that didn't exist in the past. So we'll be doing Empower again. We have big plans for the future. After our break, we'll get into those.
You have an appointment with me on Thursday, though, okay?
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's on my calendar. It's on my.
And-
so everyone else is.
And also bringing the runway on the road. So
Yes.
this evening we will have in the little corridor a red carpet, and the hospital gowns are here. I painted them myself in my hotel room. And so with your best outfit on tonight, you can shed a hospital gown and walk the red carpet, and we'll have a ring light and camera. So, you know, it's just it's a movement now, like the HS red carpet. Let's go.
And for tonight too, please.
Wear the sleeveless
Yeah,
dress.
come dressed to the nines. Like, nobody gets a chance to do that most often. And as a patient, we often choose clothes that we hide in or that we don't have to show parts of our body. And the whole goal for this is to wear the dress that you would never have picked, to show your armpits, to not have to worry because nobody is gonna ask what is going on. You are amongst people who completely get it. So we want everybody to just come tonight and have a really good time and not worry about whether you're draining, there's wound care in the bathrooms, all of this, to really just have an opportunity to be yourself amongst your community who gets it.
I have feathers, so.
Yeah.
Hey.
But I just want to commend Brinley. This is something that's off script, but I guess it was about a year and a half ago. She was having her last HS surgery, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm quitting my job and I'm doing this full time." I was like, "Whoa, that's incredible!" Like, talking about marrying your purpose and your passion into your profession, like, that's what everybody really dreams of. So I just have to, give kudos to people, I mean, especially in this day and age, in this economy, it's hard to do that. But you stepped out on faith, whatever faith that is, and you said, I'm going to do it. So I love that about you, Brinley, and thank you for changing the world, changing the HS community. I love partnering with you. UCB loves partnering with you. So we're just so honored to be here with you. And we sponsored not only the Find Us campaign, but we're sponsors of the Healing Space. Yes. So like they talked about that a little bit earlier about the mental health and also this conference. So I'm really excited for what's in 2026.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, we don't have time. Sorry.
We're really sorry we don't have time for questions.
But you can find any of us. Find us.
Catch them later.
Yes, find us.
Find us.
Yes.
Can we get a picture real quick? Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right, guys, so in 10 minutes, we have the wound care workshop with Katie, the wound care lady. Which that's not her name, that's just what we call her. But it's going to be interactive. There's wound care stations. It is going to be a longer session, so take the 10 minutes, get some water. There's water stations in here and outside in the restrooms. And then we'll be back for wound care. And that'll be our last talk of the evening, so then everyone can go get dressed up for dinner. So, yeah, 10 minutes. 2:45. We're back for wound care. Oh, why? Oh, no, hold on. JK, we have a fashion show of a different kind. They're coming. It's into wound. I thought we were doing it coming into the wound care. Oh, okay. I can play it on my phone. They're modeling HydroWear. So for those who aren't, I'm sure everyone here knows, but HydroWear is non-adhesive, like, bandage system, and it's really great for HS because I don't know about you, but I react to adhesive, and it's like the worst when you're taking off bandages and it rips your skin off. So now you have an HS flare and your skin's on fire. So HydroWear is amazing because it's essentially a garment that has a system where like the bandages go on without any adhesive, and it's super cool, and they're gonna model it for you. So there's a garment for the underneath, that's the whole groin area and like the butt area, and then one for the armpits as well. So I'm going to see if I can find some music. I'm not singing. Allie? Woo! Thank you to our HydroWear models. They also have a booth here, so if you want any questions on HydroWear. And Suzanne, the founder, is an HS patient herself. She was the last one walking. And she was part of the Find Us campaign. It is covered on certain insurance, and that's a big one. So then they have that information on their website, but especially after surgery in your stage 3, you can talk to your dermatologist, because like wound care can be covered by insurance, and this is something that we're tackling in the next year to get those resources out there, because as you know, wound care is expensive, but it's very necessary. So 5 minutes and we will have Katie on. Thank you. Okay, it's up to you.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's good. Yeah? Okay.
If your feet get toes, sit down.
And then let's see.
Oh, no, I got it. Don't worry. Sure? Yeah, don't worry. Can you just receive it once we get it on? There we go. Bam.
Perfect. I'll leave it like right here.
Yeah.
I think. For right now. I don't know.
Or do you want to have it? Would you like the podium, Katie? Yeah, absolutely you can.
I think let's move the podium.
Yeah?
Yeah, then I can put this in front of me.
That's a great idea. You got it? Yeah. All right, thank you.
Cool. Oops. Okay. I think just somewhere up here. Kind of like the new podium.
Ooh, God, that scared me. How about right here? That's kind of replacing the podium. That gives.
Yeah.
Is that enough room for you?
That's plenty of
Okay.
room.
Perfect.
And then it doesn't block anything.
No, I think.
Let me just
let me
see.
double check.
Testing, testing.
I don't know, it's not moving forward. So it's just real slow, I think. Is there a timer on your guys' end? You can just move forward. Here, let me see what it looks like on your end, just so I can familiarize myself.
Dinner's at 6, you said?
Welcome, welcome. We're going to start the wound care session very shortly. So just to give you guys a little detail, I mean, the schedule is on your badges, but some details. We're going to do the wound care from, it's going to be 2:45 to 4:15. Then we're going to hear a word from UCB, from Nicole again. And Andrew, we're going to finish the session today with some giveaways. We have awesome things to give away. There's wound care, there's mugs, there's speakers. I don't know, we have a bunch of stuff. So we have some fun giveaways at 4:30, and then we have a break, and you guys can go get dressed. So let's get into some wound care.
Am I sweating through my sweat? Yeah. I don't like. You have to get started, and then once you get talking, I'm more nervous about like, how do I feel 2 hours? But in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. I'm gonna start with some open discussion, and then move forward. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. do. Andrew? Will you actually grab one of the scissors and then go start taking? I already did the hip affix. I cut a bunch of pieces of the hip affix. But can you actually start doing the same thing with this? So there's a bunch of rolls.
Absolutely.
And then just cut along. You don't have to be on a line, but cut it. Don't cut it this way. Cut it this way.
Yes, and just about that size.
Yeah, just give me a bunch of strips in there. So people, I'm gonna have people like actually go.
Absolutely.
Grab one of each so they can feel them.
And you pointed where the other rolls are. Where are they?
So
they're on the counter.
On the counter in the basket. There's like they look like this, and they're in a basket towards the water.
Absolutely.
And then there's a bunch of hip affix already cut up.
You got it.
But maybe if there's another roll there, just like keep
Absolutely.
cutting.
Just about enough for the audience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then I'm just gonna have folks go up and like take one of each, so that as we're talking about it, they can feel it and put it on their skin.
You got it.
Okay. I just decided that right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, absolutely.
Come up with you, or?
No, this one I'm gonna like sample from here, and then after or sort of during, I'm gonna have folks get one sample. They'll have them at their chairs, and they'll be like feeling it.
Way to bring it.
Do you want it up or down?
Can you bring it down a little bit?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's that guy, and then push down, like that. You want it further down? Or we good? I think that feels good to me. Yeah. I know, it was really high. I appreciate that.
Excuse me, everyone. Can I have everyone's attention? I just wanted to let everybody know the amazing gift bags that we have over there, we're going to be giving those out on the last day. Unfortunately, UPS has haunted me and is hiding things from me, so I'm hoping to have that stuff later tonight, but I just wanted to make the announcement just to leave those there and that you guys can take the stuff on the last day, okay? Thank you.
All right, hi everyone, welcome back. We are going to get started with our wound care session with Katie. We affectionately call her Katie the wound care lady. And she is going to be doing an interactive workshop on wound care. So she's going to give us some great information first. She has been working in wound care for nearly 10 years. Safe to say she knows a little bit about it. And we have some supplies here that she's going to go over, and we have some supplies that we will be passing out to show you all how to properly dress a wound. So please give it up for Katie and her expertise. We are very excited to have her. Yes.
Hello. Can you, okay. We good there? Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to put it out there that I'm really nervous, but that's okay. It's going to get easier. Thank you. I mean, why I should be nervous after y'all just got up here and bared everything. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So my name is Katie. I'm a nurse practitioner. Do you all know what nurse practitioners are? Some people don't, but we're pretty common in the fields now. I specifically work in wound care. My HS story is one of advocacy. It's one of, like many practitioners still, unfortunately. I was never taught about this condition as a nurse, nor as a nurse practitioner, and not when I got my certification in wound care. And so it wasn't until I met patients like Brinley that oftentimes were referred to my clinic after they'd been to the emergency room or the urgent care or their primary care doctor's office time and time again for these abscesses, right? And we're given antibiotics or a procedure called an IND where they go in and incise to try and open and drain it. It never works, right? And then they'd send them to wound care because they'd say, well, they have a wound that's not closing, so wound care must know what to do. And then they'd come to me and I'd read through their history and I'd be like, this isn't fitting. This picture is not a picture of a bacterial infection. This is not the picture of an abscess that we would, typically define as such. And so I was actually Brinley, who I had seen this condition for a long time and not known what to call it, but recognized that it wasn't like your typical wound. And then Brinley's like, the patient that I got was like, I have HS, this is HS. And then I'm like, oh, this is HS, okay. And then through Brinley just investing in my own education, and so that's where I'm at. And now treating patients with HS is a passion of mine, and I just want to focus today on how to help you care for your skin during different periods of this condition. And specifically, we're going to be talking about non-surgical topical wound care. So tomorrow, a lot of the medical management and the potentially surgical management is going to be discussed with other experts, which is amazing. And that's the emphasis too, is that what we're talking about today, right now, is supportive care. This is not curative. This is not medical management. This is not surgical management. This is day-to-day management and management, not treatment. And it's so, so important that everyone here and anyone who has HS understands that there are really good treatments out there now and a lot of options. So that's not what my talk is specifically about. And I think we can get caught up in trying to just manage the day-to-day, and then our focus becomes the wound care, and then it's like there's more out there. So let's give you some tips and some tricks, and then tomorrow really talk about the treatment. Okay? Yay! And that Katie the wound care lady, I've never heard that before. And I've actually been in wound care for almost 15 years, and now I love it. And now I'm going to go back to my clinic and be like, you have to call me Katie the wound care lady. And my nurses are going to be like, no, I'm not calling you that. So we have, is this still accurate? Yeah, and so we'll be mentioning several brand names, but just because they all have either invested in HS patients, and we have some small, but some studies to share on topical wound care, but also some of the companies that have actually, supporting what we're doing here this weekend. So we want to highlight that, but also recognize that cost is always a consideration. And so just because we're name branding here, we're going to be talking about basic concepts that you can apply and then, find the dressing brand that you can afford, but has the same concepts. And the other disclaimer, as I mentioned, is that this is supportive care. This is not medical management. This is not surgical management. And anything that you have heard in the past or that you may, hear from your medical provider in the future, this does not supersede that, that direction. So this is not meant to be a consultation of medical advice. This is a safe, supportive community, and we're just going to do tricks and tips. And there's a lot of great products out there that aren't going to be mentioned here. So there's that too. So the basics. I always call it the Goldilocks effect, right? We're all trying to strive for not too wet, not too dry, just right. So we think about the basics: moisture balance, comfort, and affordability, and that's what I want to try and help you achieve. This is some terminology that you might hear during the presentation, or if I ever use a word that doesn't make sense to you, raise your hand or be and then I'll be okay, let me explain that. So occlusive, oftentimes you'll see a dressing and it'll say occlusive, and that usually means that nothing can come in or out. And we don't really want occlusive dressings, we want breathable dressings, but some dressings can look occlusive. So you're oh, this is an occlusive dressing, but it's actually breathable. And so when you're looking at products and how they're labeled, you want to see that, hey, it's showing that, and we'll look at another slide, that, maybe it's going to contain the drainage, but it's actually still breathable. So we don't want anything too occlusive. Oh, sorry, exudate. Do you guys know that terminology? That's drainage. Exudate means drainage. It's the medical term for drainage. So your provider might say, how much exudate do you have? You're I don't know. How much drainage do you have? And then that amount of drainage at that particular time is going to help you decide what dressing. ABD pads, that's probably the most common dressing I see or recommend for HS patients, and so it's just an acronym for abdominal pad, and we'll talk about that. Any other terminology that you have heard that you talk about yourself or you talk about with your support people or your clinician, or you've heard clinicians say about this condition that doesn't make sense? Exactly. Yeah. Adhesive, meaning sticky. Gauze? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Right. So we'll typically say a dressing is either adhesive or non-adhesive. An adhesive bandage is going to have some kind of border or some kind of sticky component. A non-adhesive is going to not stick to your skin without either applying a secondary tape or gauze, type of gauze, and there are different types of gauze. So you'll hear woven, and I don't have an example of that. Again, some of our supplies just didn't make it here, but we will touch and feel some of this stuff, but that's a really good example. Gauze, there are different types of gauze. You can get harsh woven gauze, and you can get soft post-operative sponge, which is a soft cotton gauze. Anything else? Any other terminology comes to mind? Okay. How many people use straight up Band-Aids? Let's see it. Yeah, it's cheap, it's affordable. What else? You it's there, you've always used it for everything else. I'm gonna try it for this, right? Yeah. What do you notice when you use a Band-Aid? Tears the skin? Falls off. How well does it help you manage your drainage? Right? You're like, what? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that like going back to that idea of like managing the drainage. It's not managing anything. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. To some degree, it's like you get what you pay for, unfortunately, and not to say that we have to go super super expensive, but it is like, yeah, you'll find that certain brands work better than others, and that's part of why we've used brand names here, is these are brands that we've used or we've recommended to people to use, and they have good efficacy. Not to say there aren't others out there, but it's good to know. Okay. So I bring up this other type of bandage called a hydrocolloid here. Sometimes it's called a blister Band-Aid. And I wasn't even aware that HS patients used this. Brinley told me, and I'm like, oh, okay. This is a dressing that I would not recommend in my practice for patients. It's very accessible. You find it at all your pharmacies. It's great for blisters, but it doesn't absorb anything, and it's very, very sticky. And so if you apply it and then you have to take it back off, it can really hurt. It can go on really well, but then if you start draining underneath, it's gonna get real soupy and messy and be difficult to remove and maybe even really painful. So I don't recommend this one. I don't know if anyone else has had experience with these kind of bandages. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you can correct me, but I guess the idea is that it does contain to some degree the drainage, so it's not getting on your clothes. And for some patients, they mentioned odor control with this dressing, but I think there's better options out there. So we'll just jump into the dress. The dressing I like for HS is a silicone adhesive dressing. And what I like to do actually is, if we have Andrew, who I know already has a job, Brinley maybe, and one other person, she's gonna kind of come down the aisles and just take one and open it up, and we'll feel it and talk about what makes it unique. Demora, Inalevin, these are common brands. You can find them on Amazon. Cost-wise, you're looking at about $25 to $30 for a box of 10, and it's somewhat dependent on the size. They do come in lots of different sizes, lots of different shapes. Brinley likes to call them cloud bandages. Silicone specifically is hypoallergenic. It's been tested and designed for fragile skin. One of the things you'll find is that when you remove the dressing or the backing, it's adhesive all the way. The entire dressing is adhesive. So it's scary for patients initially to think I'm gonna put this whole sticky bandage on my skin. But the research shows that the adhesion across the entire bandage keeps it secure, and so you're not gonna get friction, which can irritate a wound, and it's gonna stay in contact with the wound, so it's gonna absorb the drainage and not gap. And then the nice thing is, they use these kind of silicone dressings on neonates, like on the most fragile of skin, and so removal is not traumatic. Some of the drawbacks is the cost, but if you are going to a wound care center, they're pretty well covered by insurance. There are some limitations. Most insurances will only cover 3 per week per lesion. So if you have a lot of lesions, or like what we do, we play the insurance game, right? And so we'll break up like under the arm and be like, oh, I think there's like 5 lesions there. So we'll get you 5 times 3 for 1 week. And so
it can at least help offset the cost. You don't want to cut these. Like, once you cut into the foam, you do kind of the product doesn't really work very well. Once it's open, then the drainage won't stay contained. So you do want to keep it intact. You can cut the edges. Like, I tell people, anyone who's like sewn, fringe the edges by making little cuts like this, not into the foam, but just as the edges, it can help contour the dressing where you need it. And it can come on and off. So if you get it down and you're like, oh, that's not the right spot, you can gently pull it back and reapply. From a drainage standpoint, you're looking at, everything's relative and every patient is different. So, if I say a low drainage day for you might be somebody's high drainage day. So that's hard, but you can imagine there's some limitations to what this can contain. Although insurance will say this is a 2 to 3 day dressing, I don't think they're, unless it's a closed lesion and you're using it for comfort over a closed lesion, you're not going to get 2 to 3 days out of any dressing. So just keep that in mind. You probably will have to supplement. I don't think the insurance will cover as many as you need, but talk with your wound. That's one of the reasons having a wound care provider is helpful in this condition, because they can prescribe the dressings and hopefully get your insurance to offset some of the cost. Has anyone opened them, felt them? Has anyone used these kind of dressings? Got one on, yay. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the other thing is, even if you don't have a draining wound and like you have a nodule, you can still put them on there, and they give such comfort. That's why we call them scrub bandages, in my house anyway. So they, if you're feeling that, it's like really against the edge of your, and it's sensitive, sometimes just putting that bandage over that will help alleviate that feeling that you're getting, because they are like, I help with memory foam, like super cool, so.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put this on, and let's say you have overworn,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
should you put something like the magic healer over it, or should we make sure you keep the wound dry?
Yeah, you can, and we'll talk about that. You can put ointments and things under here that are soothing. Just be mindful. If you put too many, like ointments or creams, it won't stick as well, right? You'll disrupt the adhesive. And I think with a lot of these topicals, a little goes a long way. Like, you don't have to put it everywhere necessarily, like, so yeah, you can put it under it. Yep. Yes. Yep. Melt, exactly. You don't have to like rub these things on, your ointments and your creams, etc. Especially if you're putting it under a bandage, like an adhesive bandage, your body temperature is going to like melt. It's going to spread. It's going to, you don't have to rub it around. Just, like she said, put it in the middle and stick it down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. And we're going to talk about another dressing. So this is just like an FYI, an understanding from a wound care, like a clinician's perspective. When we, insurance, as in all things, has specific language. They have specific criteria for qualifying different types of dressings. So dressings are coded as a long wear or a short wear or a dressing for low drainage or moderate drainage. I mean, they have gotten very specific about the indication, and every single dressing that can be covered by insurance has a specific code. And so that's where your wound care provider will be helpful, because there are similar dressings to this that have been coded differently, and then we can get those every day. And we'll talk about that, but they're just a little bit different. They're not considered a foam, and so there are alternatives that they can find that you can order, that can be ordered every day. And these are just the concepts. Again, when you are on Amazon and you're looking for a dressing and you're price shopping, you want to be looking for something that demonstrates that it's protective and maybe waterproof, but also breathable. And that's really important, because if you put a foam on that's not breathable, it's going to irritate your skin, and it's going to make things worse. And then again, this is that idea that the adhesive going across the entire foam helps secure the dressing to the wound bed, and that will help with moisture wicking and reduce friction. There are brands that will have silicone on the edge and not on the pad, the foam itself. And so if you ultimately don't want that adhesive on your skin, we're going to talk about ways to layer underneath this, but there are ones on the market that don't have the adhesive across the entire part of the dressing. My preference and my experience with patients is that the full adhesive does do better. It's typically a better product. It typically works better, but there are alternatives out there. Oh. Okay, sorry. It's like, I don't know, it's jumping around here. Let's just give it a minute, and then maybe it'll catch up with me. Skipped. Can we go back? Yeah. Yes, right there. Okay. So I was talking about how there are, so this is a foam dressing, and this is what I would consider low to moderate drainage management. The next step up from that is called a super absorber. Again, these are terminology that you can take a picture with your phone, or think about, write down, that when you're searching on Amazon, or your wound care doctor provider is talking to you about, okay, well, I think you need a super absorber. This is the technology they're talking about. And the HydroWear product that they demonstrated here has both a foam and a super absorber option. So your super absorbers, they're the ones that are, going to absorb a lot of drainage. And these you can typically get on a daily basis. And they use gelling technology or diaper technology. So the idea is the beads, the tiny beads you felt a baby's diaper, right? Where as it fills, it kind of gets heavy a little bit. It's the same technology. So the benefit is the absorption, and the technology is getting better, and we can pass these around too. Hopefully you've stopped at the HydroWear table. You can feel that compared to a foam, which is what's in here, and their foam dressing that they have, super absorbers are a little thicker, they're a little stiffer. You absolutely cannot cut into them in any way, because when you do and the liquid jellifies, it's just gonna pour out in a terrible mess. And if it gets too full, just like a baby's, the dressing can burst, right? So they're fantastic. They work really well, and HydroWear in particular has one of the leading products on the market, and I just learned this from them at the other conference I was at across the street. But there's this product called Caramax. It's been in the wound care world for a long time. They're very highly thought of, and HydroWear apparently and Caramax had a head-to-head, and HydroWear did better. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. So this is something that gets covered by your insurance too. We can get this covered, this dressing and the garments for you. And I was told from the HydroWear folks that most insurances will cover 30 pads a month per lesion or lesional area, and a garment every 3 months, I think is what I heard. So clarify with that, but that's a great resource. And again, it's non-adhesive. Any questions about that kind of technology? I'll point out that, again, when you're looking online, if you choose to go with one of these high absorber products, some of them don't have an up or down. Like some of them just look the same on both sides. Those ones are not going to contain, like as the drainage fills, that it may spill out on one side or the other if it doesn't have a backing. And so you may, depending on your preference, choose one that has like an alternate color, because usually an alternate cover means there is an up and down. You do have to put it the right way against your skin, but as it fills, the drainage isn't going to leak out the back. It'll be contained with that backing. Does that make sense? Okay. And super absorbers do come in the silicone adhesive as well. So, but you're going to feel the same thing. It's going to get puffy, where this won't over time.
Wait. This is so that our virtual people can hear as well.
Oh,
You have one?
Sorry. No, I was going to say for the HydroWear, so since it has that adhesive where, not the adhesive, but it has the padding on both sides that can possibly leak through, do you suggest that we put something over that as well, again, to observe it?
We can clarify with the HydroWear folks, but I think that their backing does secure. Yeah.
There's a layer on the back that prevents the exudate coming through into outside of the dressing. So
Yeah, so theirs doesn't color coded, but they do have a backing on theirs that doesn't allow it to come through.
Okay, perfect. So we just have to make sure that we're using another type of like gauze that it has some type of layer in the back so it won't be seeping through. Like
Not with HydroWear. So HydroWear, they're saying their backing will control the drainage, so it shouldn't go through. But there are other brands. So just the general rule is that usually it's color coded. So usually if there's an up and down, it usually will be a different color. In HydroWear's case, they don't, but you can tell the difference. Yeah, because there's proprietary design, right, has the Velcro. So it's pretty, once you have it in your hand and you're applying the dressing, it's pretty obvious which side goes against your skin. But I was just saying, like, if you're online and you're looking, like, keep these things in mind, that if it's two different colors, that means there's an up and a down, one that goes against your skin and one that goes away. And then usually if they look exactly the same on both sides, then usually you can wear it either way, but you're gonna worry about. And then an example of that is an ABD pad, where they put a line, but it doesn't mean anything. So you could literally put this against your skin either way, but once it gets full, it could seep through to your clothing, potentially. Yeah.
I do have a question from somebody on the virtual side. They want to know if there's anything that you would recommend for little drainage that's just a very tiny lesion that's the size of the pea, but sometimes those ones can be super painful, and it's kind of in the area of the armpits or the thighs.
Good question. I'm going to save it to the end because we have actual pictures and we'll be like, what would I put on this wound? And there's like a very specific example.
Okay, thank you.
So this is an ABD pad. That's what I'm holding here. This is, again, your most affordable option for HS. You can change it out as many times a day. It's moderate to high drainage. It's not a super absorber, so it's not going to gelify. Your HydroWear is going to give you more drainage management. Your super absorber is going to give you more management, but it's more expensive. Your abdominal pad is like, I think the last time we looked was like $14 for a pack of 40. And they do come in a couple of different sizes as well. This is considered like the standard or small size, and then they go up from there. But from a cost standpoint, 2 uses these. Yeah, I like them better than gauze. They are not gauze, and they don't really stick. I mean, they don't have a non-adhesive claim, but they don't stick. They're pretty easy to remove, And one of the things that you can do if you have to secure it, and we want to try to avoid using tape, and we'll talk more about that too, but you can mold and fold and do all the things with it. I can put it in my, supplement my hydrowear if I need to. If you have a shirt, a kind of a fitted shirt is what I tell folks, like a t-shirt, you can fit that in there, some kind of bra, or just in your underwear. Trying to utilize your clothing to secure your dressing instead of adhesives. The other tip that I teach patients is using Vaseline to secure their ABD pad. So I'll literally say, take your Vaseline, either put it on your skin or just coat your dressing, and it will actually start to stick pretty good as I roll around. But you can imagine if you coat it, and then you'll get it to stick enough that then you can get your clothes on and secure it without having to use an adhesive. Now I can't touch anything.
There's some tissue up there.
Yeah, I was like, can I? Thank you. That was smart of me. Perfect. Okay, so has anyone heard of alginates or hydrofibers? Okay, if you're industry, put your hands down. If you're a patient, and you're a patient, okay, good. So yeah, a few people have. It's really, thank you. It's a layering dressing. It's typically not a primary dressing, meaning it's not, you would just put that on and it'd be your only thing. It's the thing you add to when you need comfort because you're having pain and you don't want something to stick, or you add it because you need better drainage management, and it's going to add an extra layer of drainage management, so you could put it under a dressing like this. It comes in silver and non-silver, and the silver component is antimicrobial. So if you're, feeling like there's some odor, or we'll talk about some devitalized tissue in the wound bed, maybe a silver alginate is worth it because it's going to help reduce bacterial load and help with drainage management. But I've also had some patients do use it over more intact, inflamed lesions as just like an extra little piece of padding, and to help the adhesive not stick to that inflamed boil that hasn't opened yet. That's a good option. And it looks like Aquacel is a brand name. Demora has one as well. They all look fairly similar, but we can pass them around. We didn't have a whole bunch of samples on this, but I think there's a box somewhere that maybe we can pull out in a little bit. It feels like felt. When you take it out, it feels like felt. It's kind of fuzzy, and you can cut this however you want. You're not going to disrupt the usefulness of it. You can cut it. You can put it in a hole. You can set it on top. We typically recommend cutting it to sort of the shape or size of the wound, and that just has to do with, again, going back to that drainage management idea that we want to wick the moisture away from your skin. But truthfully, sometimes I just tell patients, just stick it down and then make sure you have enough adhesive around the edge that it's going to stay. But what's nice about it is when it does drain, it jellifies. It's a little different technology than the super absorbers we talked about. Ooh, just sprayed myself. It's the technology in the super absorbers is more like diaper technology. It's beads. And then hydrofibers and alginates is more of like a true jelly. I'm just going to walk this around. You can just feel it. So that's going to go from feeling like felt to the drainage is going to, when you take it off, you can imagine it just falls off.
But that could help to not put the tape, right? We don't gotta put the tape with that.
Well, so that is not going to hold on its own. So maybe, Brinley, I think I have the box. If you want to get another one wet on that side. Oh, did you? Oh, there we go. Just get this one a little bit wet. Just a little bit. A little goes a long way. We're going to get another one circulate over here. But again, that's not it's called a primary dressing.
Just wet a little bit?
Yeah, just 2 drops on the edge here. So under this. So it would go first, and it goes on dry, and then you secure it with something like this. Okay? Or just gauze, another affordable option. Again, alginates and hydrofibers have been around for a long time, and they're generally pretty affordable. You can find them on Amazon. A lot of different brands have them. And so just being like, this absorbs really nicely, and it's really easy coming off. I'm gonna put that down first, and then maybe I'm gonna do something really inexpensive like gauze over the top of it, and then secure it with a little bit of tape, and we'll talk about tape options. Or I'm gonna do the alginate, and I'm gonna put an ABD pad, and then secure it with my clothing or whatnot. Any questions on that? Yeah. Right? Crazy. Well, they were originally alginates, which like algae. So the technology came from algae, and they dehydrated it, and then as it's rehydrated, algae has just like a gelling effect. The hydrofiber was designed later, and it's supposed to have a little bit more drainage management. But again, from an industry standpoint, if you had two of them and you were holding them in your hand, you would not know if you were holding an alginate or a hydrofiber. So I just put both names up there because when you're looking online, if it says hydrofiber or alginate, really you're gonna get the same effect. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, am I going the wrong way? Okay, contact layers. So again, we just talked about alginates, hydrofibers as being a primary dressing that we layer underneath an adhesive or other absorber. Same thing with contact layers. The idea of a contact layer is that it is non-adhesive. Usually it's an oil base or Vaseline base. Looks like this, but there's Vaseline on it, so it doesn't stick. It helps, and you can cut it in whatever size or shape you want, and it can go underneath one of these adhesive dressings, and then that cuts the adhesive over your wound to something that's not going to adhere to at least the wound part of it. And so when you go to remove it, it's not going to stick to your wound at all. And again, I do have some patients that will do this first, and then they'll put their ABD pad over the top. So this goes against the skin, and then the pad goes over the top. And again, it's simply a comfort strategy. It doesn't absorb anything. It doesn't make your wound heal better or worse. It's simply, if you're looking like for some comfort, to know that when you take off your dressing, it's not going to stick to you. And pricing is highly variable. So this particular brand, Adaptic, is a really nice brand, but it can be really expensive. So what you're looking for is like often called an oil emulsion bandage, and that will get you this. And again, you can cut it up however you want. And she's passing those out. Has anyone used this or thoughts on this? We got a lot of thoughts. Okay, let's go all the way in the back.
Wait. Hold on, Pete.
They want to hear you.
Yeah, I actually like it because I had a roofing surgery on my head and my legs, and I had used that with Vaseline.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how it absorbed the drainage,
Mm-hmm.
and it don't smell.
Yeah.
It's great, and you can cut it any size that you want.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it.
Yeah. So 2 good points there. We use this a lot after de-roofing for comfort. There's also a yellow gauze out there. It's a yellow contact layer, and it's called Zeroform. That's another one you'll see. I don't have it here, but yeah, sometimes you'll see yellow gauze or this one clear. Both are used somewhat interchangeably. The concept is that they're a Vaseline or oil base, so they're not going to stick to your wound or your new surgical site. And the other point that you made is that you can add more Vaseline to it to make it even less sticky. But from an affordability standpoint, I typically teach patients to just apply the Vaseline right to the pad. Then you're not trying to deal with two different dressings. But sometimes we need that extra, especially maybe after surgery. And you can layer them too. So the more layers you have, the less likely it is to stick. So there's a lot you can do with that. Just keep in mind that if you are going to use a sticky bandage over the top of this, you got to leave enough of the adhesive outside of the Vaseline. Because once this bandage hits any like oil or Vaseline, it's no longer going to stick. And now you've wasted a $4 dressing. Yeah.
I have a question, because you mentioned Vaseline. What's the non-generic name?
Sorry, thank you. Petroleum jelly.
Okay, yes. So a lot of people think that the Vaseline or petroleum jelly is the same as Neosporin. So can you expand upon
good.
that?
Yeah. Yes, I think we have a slide not specifically on that. Let me table that, but I will answer that question. And her question is, what is the difference between straight up petroleum jelly, also called Vaseline, and like Neosporin, or petroleum jelly and Aquaphor? And we'll talk a little bit about that. I'm not sure. I can repeat it.
How do you get insurance to cover that if possible?
The dressing, is it a dressing question? You have to have a diagnosis, a wound diagnosis, and then there's a lot of other like qualifiers, like how much drainage, is this a partial thickness or full thickness wound? So a patient themselves is unlikely to be able to get their insurance to pay for their dressings unless you have like a health savings account, HSA, or an FSA. You need to go to a wound center where they have to measure and picture and diagnose and then submit that through a third-party distributor. So there's usually like the clinic makes the diagnosis and places the order, and then that order gets sent to a third party who then fills the order and bills your insurance, and then it gets mailed to you. That's typically the process.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to add something to that really quick, Katie, is that any HS patient can ask for wound care.
Yes.
You can ask your dermatologist to refer you to a wound care center. That is your right as a patient. You may get pushback on it. You just tell them, I'm asking for a referral to a wound care center. Mm-hmm. Working with wound care changes the way you even feel about your own wounds, and your healing. So I highly recommend it, especially post-surgical, if you're having any kind of surgical intervention outside of a de-roofing, any kind of excision, then I would highly recommend it. But it is your right as a patient to ask for a referral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even if you haven't had surgery, like, again, as long as you and your dermatologist have had the discussion and you understand, like, this is one more person in our collaborative care model, because that's what HS really is. It should be a collaborative care model. Then it's like, okay, the expectation is clear. I'm going there for the support that I need for my topical wound care, and I recognize that it's not my curative therapy. Was there other questions or any comments? If they come back to you, raise your hand again. I keep turning this like which way's up, which way's down. Can we go forward? I don't know. I don't want to push it too many times. Okay, now we're on to tape and adhesives. What's the general takeaway on tape and adhesives? They hurt. Yeah. Does it feel like a necessary evil, or do you feel like you are confident that there's alternatives?
Hello. You're probably going to touch on this anyway, but like I used to use regular like wound care tape, and then I tried paper tape at some point, which didn't stick at all, and was really painful to take off. But then I learned about silicone tape, which you're probably going to talk about anyway. But yeah, I used to just put straight on like medical grade tape, and then every time, since I have groin HS, then every time I had to rip it off of there, it
And then, Andrew, do you want to pass out one of each?
Some people in the virtual comments are saying that they leave burns on them, and they're all really agreeing with each other that it's very uncomfortable, that it really hurts. And for other people, they're saying it also causes hyperpigmentation sometimes over time.
We're going to talk about that. Yeah.
Sometimes, is it working? Sometimes I feel like there's like a lot of alternatives for like tape, but it depends, like just like with the other situation, it depends on what like you're using, because there'll be like cheap medical grade. There's like a tougher version, and sometimes that's when bandages come into place. But at times it can like rip your hair out.
Yeah.
For me specifically, I have to bandage every single day, and I've had an open wound for over 3 years. So wearing adhesive tape caused the hyperpigmentation, permanent adhesive allergy, rashing, welting, and like I can't even wear a Band-Aid anymore because my whole body reacts to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a really common experience in inflammatory skin conditions, is that you become sensitive to something over time. And so maybe something that you tolerated before, you find that after time you're no longer tolerating it. And so that can even happen with these bandages as well. So I do recommend that folks try to give themselves a break from adhesive as often as they can, because you are more likely to develop sensitization to any type of adhesive. There are some that are better than others, and silicone in general tends to be better tolerated and tolerated longer. But no adhesive is safe on inflammatory skin. So there's always a compromise there and a risk for sure. So we'll talk about different types of tapes and how they work. But you had one?
Well, y'all just said everything I was going to say. I've honestly, there's never been anything good coming from using any type of adhesive for me. I've gone through so many different, from paper tape to medical grade tape, whatever you can think of. I've never had any luck. So I was introduced to the elastic, like the mesh sleeve-like materials. That's the only thing that I can use to keep my
like a
padding
netting?
in place. Like the netting, but it's like they stretch it over and it holds your padding in place. That's the only thing I can use. But the bad part about that is I can't put netting on my chest.
And even here, it's like limited.
Yeah, so that kind of forces me to leave my wounds, open. And so I would love to find something that works, but adhesives have just left a really bad taste in my mouth. And I'm just not even, normally I'm not even open to trying them because I've had so much bad luck with it.
Yeah, I completely agree. One of the strategies, if you find that you do okay with this kind of bandages, the only time that I do say it's okay to cut into it is I've had patients use this just to secure their pads. So they'll cut strips and they'll use this actual bandage as like the edge.
That's a game changer, being able to, because normally if I do find something that helps, like I've seen the bandages that you have on your hand. I've used that type and it was kind of cool, but it's normally not big enough for the flare that I have. So being able to cut an actual piece that I can,
if you have to use a pad or something, but using this is just like your securement. That's one area where you could cut into it because you're not using it for its occlusive or non-occlusive, but containment. You're just using it as like adhesive.
The actual bandage was that size, and the pad that held the drainage, it wasn't big enough.
Big enough. Yeah. Go ahead. Is it Ashley? Yeah.
Yes.
So the only time I'll use paper tape now is if I use adhesive remover pads, and then I also found the adhesive. They're like wipes. Do you know what I'm talking about? What are those called? It's bothering me.
So they're skin barrier.
Yeah, skin barrier wipes.
Yeah.
So I'll put that on my skin where I know the tape's gonna go, and then so it doesn't pull on my skin. And once I found out what that was, I ordered those up because that helps tremendously. So that's the only time I'll use paper tape now. Otherwise, I'll use silicone tape.
Yeah, so what she's talking about is called skin barrier film or skin barrier wipes. Cavalon is like the most common brand. And it's really I didn't even think to bring that one, but
I have some.
You do? Yeah, we should. Yeah, we'll put that in there. Maybe if you have some, we can people can take a picture of it and you can share that advice with folks. That's a good one. I think that's great. And I think it's worth trying too. It can build up on itself and you can become sensitized to that as well. So again, nothing is without its risks, but it's a great option. And what it does is it creates basically a clear coating so that the adhesive is actually sticking to the coating and not to your skin is the concept. So yeah. We can... And then I think you guys mentioned all the ones. So you have a couple samples, and I just want to point out my preferred is either silicone, but that tends to be very expensive. And the adhesive component of silicone in terms of tape, in my opinion, isn't that great. For whatever reason, in a bandage form, it works really, really good. But in a tape form, I think it's only okay. And you definitely get what you pay for. There's some really bad silicone brands out there. And so 3M, although I don't love the company itself, the product, 3M is generally pretty well a good quality. And then Dymora, the other company that they also have a silicone tape. But the other one that I really like is called Hipafix. And it's also called Metapore. So those are two different brands. Hipafix tends to be a little less expensive, but Metapore is a 3M brand. And again, Metapore probably is a little bit, I think Metapore is a better brand, but you like Hipafix, right? So Brindley likes Hipafix, you like Hipafix and I like Metapore. But, point is that they're both available and they're the similar concept, or they are the same concept. They're just two different brands, and they're cloth. It's like a fabric. So you have a sample of that, and it typically comes in a large roll, and you can cut it to whatever size you want. And then there are two, you remove both sides. And this, again, is in line with that breathability. So your skin can still breathe through this. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why it's well tolerated. Is that it doesn't occlude your skin. And again, coming on and off, it's pretty gentle. It's just, I have Vaseline all over my skin on this side, but it holds well, it molds to your skin really well, and even though I have Vaseline everywhere, it's not gonna stick to me. But in general, who's used it? Who thinks this holds well? I wanna hear from you. Yeah, who likes it? Who likes this product or similar products? Okay, what do you like about it? Mm-hmm.
It stays in place really well. It doesn't react with my skin. I've had to use it multiple times, and it's the best thing I've found for not being painful during removal and staying in place all day, which are the two main things for adhesiveness, right?
Go ahead.
So my son used it, and when he, just so you know, when he did go to wound care clinic, they loaded him up. We didn't pay anything for it.
That's awesome.
It worked.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad they loaded you up. That's awesome. It's like one of the only things we carry in clinic. And then, anyone else want to say something about it? Yeah, back there. And then I'm going to hear from you that don't like it. So we're going to get there too. We want to hear it all.
Yeah, I really like it because when I take it off, it don't rip my skin like a Brazilian wax. Like that, you know what I'm saying? That's why I like that tape. Yeah, and it's like the bandage, like you could like make the gauze if you got a little one, you could cut it to how you want it, put it on, and it stick good. So that's, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Brazilian. Yo, it's that clear tape. That tape be wilding on my skin. Yeah.
Okay, who doesn't like this tape? What are some bad experiences? Anyone can share?
Hi. I don't like it just because it ripped my skin completely off and left blisters. But I think my skin is more just super sensitive to adhesives. The only thing that seems to work right now for me is using Tegaderms.
That's what we're going to talk about next.
Which is next, but the Hypafix was just not for me.
Yeah. And I, thank you. Brands, again, Metapore, I bring it up because it's a reliable brand. Metapore, 3M Metapore, and then Hypafix. There are similar, I don't know if Dymora has a Hypafix, but there are different products out there that may look similar, but I have had some patients like get what they thought was Hypafix or Metapore, and yeah, it was like super adhesive, and they were like, "What did you do?" So, yeah, I know it's hard. There's a lot out there, and it's kind of one of the only cases where I really focus on brand names that I can trust. So we brought up transparent film or Tagaderm. Tagaderm is a brand name, but it's a transparent film. If you've ever had a tattoo, that's a product that they've used to cover your tattoo. The same idea of any other dressing is that we want it to cover and protect the skin, but we want it to be breathable. So make sure whatever brand you choose, Tagaderm is a 3M brand. It works very well, and it's been well tested. So again, Tagaderm. But this is a brand that you've used. Is that right, Brinley? Is this a specific brand you have used, or no? We just put that picture up.
I think that's just a brand.
Okay.
We've used multiple brands.
Okay, and had pretty good success with nothing that was okay. So the idea here is it's just an adhesive. And you can use it in strips to strip around, but typically we use it more like over the whole dressing. So usually like if you need this to stay better, then you would take your transparent film and you'd put it over the whole thing, not just strips. Or like if you had your gauze, you would take this transparent film, you'd put the gauze in the middle, so now you've got adhesive all the way around, and then you put it on, or you put this down and you put the whole thing down. They can be a little bit tricky. They do come in a roll typically, and you can cut them to size, or you can buy them in specific sizes. But usually the idea is still the same. There's a plastic coating, so it feels hard at first, and you're like, that's not gonna feel good. But you remove, and everybody can practice this if you have it, you remove the outer plastic first, and then usually there's like a strip somewhere, and that gets you started. And then the tricky part is just trying to get it down before it crumples on itself, because it's kind of like saran wrap. So that's just, I don't have any specific tricks and tips. It's just doing it over and over again and figuring it out for yourself. I've already messed this one way up, but if you peel it back a little bit and then stick it down, and then remove the rest of your backing. So it would be like, I'm gonna peel a little bit of it, I'm gonna get it stuck, and then I'm gonna pull the rest of this off. It's very, very sticky, and that can be scary. So there's some tricks about removal. Start once it's down on your skin, it will hold really well. And when you go to remove it, peel up an edge and tug on the edge, like tug down, like in this fashion. If I had that transparent film, I'd pull down, and that will release the adhesive instead of just tearing it off. So pull it down first, and then find another edge and pull it. And so then just slowly do that, and it will release itself without you having to tear it off. Okay, anything else on tapes? I think we covered that, because we're gonna go with non-tape now.
One of the favorite ways that we've used this transparent film is for inner thighs. So
Yeah.
what we've done at home, like with both of my kids, is applied it to the inner thigh and then taken a big strip of that transparent film, because if your thighs rub together, you know, your bandages don't stick very long, and that's always an issue with the edges coming up. So we've taken that transparent film and put a, you know, pretty good piece over that, so that it doesn't come off or start peeling up. So you kind of are a MacGyver, right, when it comes to wound care. So I think like the more tips and tricks we can share with each other that we've learned, the better off we'll be. But that was one of the things that we really, really found helpful, because it stayed on and it wasn't painful to remove afterwards.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. And that brings us to HydroWear. When we can give your skin a break from adhesive, and we have to keep belaboring, like everybody knows that, everybody's experienced it. So we're gonna just keep trying to find ways, and this is one really good way to do that. How many people have tried HydroWear? Today, good. Yeah, okay, good. Getting the fit right, I'm learning about that too as a practitioner. So work with your practitioner, and they may not know about it. So you can, go to the website and bring it into your practitioner. And we're doing that in our clinic right now, and they're very, very responsive. So emollients, creams, and cleansers, this can be a total rabbit hole that you can just go down. And the unfortunate part is that we don't have a lot of studies, or really any studies. We'll talk about one on products like emollients, creams, and washes to tell you that this one is the right one for HS or your type of skin. So we draw a lot of our recommendations from other inflammatory skin conditions like psoriasis. And the basics on that are: be gentle, don't overstimulate the skin, don't use products that have too many components, because then you don't know what you're going to be reacting to. And you want to look for hypoallergenic products that say, like dermatology tested or dermatology recommended. And then there are some there's some products here today, folks who had HS, and they're developing some anti-inflammatory products. So, just proceed with caution. If you're trying something new, anything new, just start in one area and then try it for a week in that one area, and then see how you respond to it. And then if you're like, okay, I'm doing well with this, then start to use it more diffusely. But I always tell people, test it first, go slow anytime you introduce a new product, and try not to introduce more than one new product at a time. So don't go to the store and be like, I'm going to try this new wash and this new cream and this new, and then you go home and use it all, because you will not know what you're reacting to. So go slow, one product at a time if you're going to try something new. Any tips or trips or thoughts on that, just specifically? At the moment, I'm going to speed through a little bit more, because it sounds like people want to talk about actual wound and wound pictures. So we're going to talk about that. Collagen is a specific wound care product that, in this setting, I wouldn't recommend it in the context of right here. But if you were going to a wound care center and they were talking to you about a very specific product, there might be an indication there. But on a day-to-day basis, it's going to be, she asked about collagen. And so you'll see collagen products on Amazon and etc. They're expensive. And this is an inflammatory disease. You need medical management. If something's not healing, it's because there's an active inflammatory process going on. And collagen, unfortunately, is just going to be expensive and probably not do you much good. Okay, next slide. I'll move a little faster here. These are my recommended cleansers for HS patients. I won't go into too much about it, but it's because of the fact that they're gentle and that they've been utilized in other inflammatory skin conditions for a long time, and we know that they're generally safe, and so this is what I recommend. Does anybody use these products? Does anyone have any other specific examples? Yeah? Yeah. The clean product, I think if we go to the next slide, they've actually done they've done a study with HS patients, and so we can recommend it with some confidence for folks. Pricing wise, it's middle of the road. I don't think it's super expensive, but it's not cheap either. The Z-Bar is a really affordable option, but this is a great option if you can spend a little bit more. To my knowledge, I don't believe this is prescriptive, and I can clarify that, but in the realm of skin cleansers, generally most of them are not prescriptive unless they have an FDA medicated component to them. And then, I'm not going to go into all of those because that would be a dermatologist who would discuss that. But these are ones you can get over the counter without a prescription. Okay? And yeah.
When it comes to talking about like cleansers, and I know we're out of time, blah blah blah. CeraVe. I have retention keratosis, which is when your like skin cells, they don't shed as fast as everybody else. CeraVe has been used for acne. It's also been used for that. And after a while of putting it on, eventually it just like clears up.
Yeah.
And lost my train of thought.
That's okay. CeraVe is a great brand. Absolutely. And then going back to like the same idea, as long as you're not having an adverse reaction to it, try it for at least 2 weeks. And again, don't ever expect that any topical wash is going to cure your condition. Again, you're looking for something that's not going to aggravate it at this point, right? Like you just need to be able to use something that's gentle and cleansing and have reasonable expectations. The other thing that you can do with clean, and this was studied as well, is that you can spot treat. So if you have an open or inflamed lesion, an active lesion that's draining or open and not closing, the recommendation is to put a little bit amount of the wash on your wound and then cover it up. Like, so use it as your spot treat under your dressing. Okay, next slide. These, when we were talking about, can you explain to us, triple antibiotic ointment over the counter versus Vaseline or petroleum jelly? And then I also like Desitin as an option. The long and short of it, and they may talk more about this tomorrow, because do you guys have a derm person tomorrow? Okay, yeah, is that the research shows that petroleum jelly is very well tolerated across the board and has the least likely to cause sensitization over time or to have an allergic reaction. Lanolin is a similar product, but it's an animal-based product. I think it's sheep or something. And that's like an Aquaphor, an A&D ointment. And they've found that a higher percentage of people actually tend to react to lanolin. And so that's why we've actually gone away from Aquaphor a little bit, and we're just kind of the pendulum swung back to just petroleum jelly. And then with triple antibiotic ointments that you can purchase over the counter without a prescription. So I'm not talking about your bacitracin or your mupirocin or some of these prescriptive antibiotic ointments that you might get prescribed, though I have feelings on those too. But anyway, if it's over-the-counter triple antibiotic ointment, we do not recommend it. From an antimicrobial standpoint, it's unlikely to benefit you for a number of reasons. Usually HS isn't really not an infectious process. There can be infectious overlap, but generally it's not infection. So it's unnecessary to have that antimicrobial. And most of the bacteria on our skin and in wounds is resistant to the bacteria to the antibiotic ointment that they sell over the counter. And so you're just increasing the risk that you're going to react to something and not know what you're reacting to. So just my recommendation, unless you've been advised otherwise or been prescribed something different, to soothe your skin is just petroleum jelly or Vaseline. And then zinc is also really safe, and it comes in a number of concentrations. So if you look at the back of your zinc which Desitin is a really common brand, but like this is like 40% zinc, so it's going to be pretty cakey, pretty thick, whereas you can go down to like 17% or 13% even. Or if Desitin is what you've got, just mix it with your Vaseline and find the consistency that you like, and keeping in mind that Vaseline is protective, right? So moisture is it's gonna protect your skin from the moisture that your body, is draining. And so it's protective, but also moisturizing, whereas zinc is protective and drying. So you just, again, that Goldilocks effect, find what works for you. And keep in mind those, ideas of just looking for the guarantee that this is dermatology tested, hypoallergenic, etc. Okay, next slide. Dermaleave is another one we want to highlight because they've worked directly with HS patients. They've done a study looking at itching and how many HS patients experience itching, right? Very common symptom. And in their study, and I think it was something like 50 patients, somewhere around there, the majority of patients experienced a reduction in their itching symptoms after 1 week, and 85% of the participants would recommend it to other HS patients. So that's another one. And it's safe to mix it with Vaseline or with zinc if you're trying to find some kind of consistency. But think about itching. That's what Dermaleave can help with. Next slide. Soothing the skin, the whole. So you can kind of see that picture up there. So we'll start talking about wounds specifically. What do you do with a hole? My recommendation typically is just treat it gently and just continue to cover it. And then hopefully you're working with a dermatologist to determine what your inflammatory state is. And do we need to do an excision of this deroofing, or do we need to keep working on our anti-inflammatory strategies? But from a topical standpoint, cover it. Think about using an antimicrobial topical. So that could be the silver alginate we talked about, or it could be the clean in a spot treatment where you're putting a little dab of it and then covering it. And then Diamora has this rinse, and it's in a very convenient, this isn't it, but same idea. The bottle has like a little, and you could put this cleaning product on like an alginate. So that's, remember this felt stuff? You could actually activate it with the Diamora solution and then put that on your wound. It would be jellified, but it'd be antimicrobial, and you could put that or silver alginate. Any thoughts on that? Does that make sense? Okay, next slide. And then this is just like people ask, like, what do you recommend on the go? Do a lot of you use some kind of like, one of the things that's like makes me so sad is when I have a patient come in and they just take out like paper towels, right? They're just like, I put paper towels under my arm because it was inexpensive, and or on the go, I use paper towels, and there are better options out there. And these are the two kind of skin cleanser body wipes that I recommend to patients to have on the go or wherever, because it's soothing. And just as a point of recommendation, like try patting, pat and not wipe, because again, that friction, anything we can do to reduce friction or irritating stimulation is important. So pat to clean instead of wiping. Does anyone use skin wipes? Yeah. Do you like them generally, or unnecessary? You like them? Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into wound examples. Just sensitive photos, so I just want people to be aware. I don't think it's anything you all haven't seen before, but okay, we can go to the next slide. Okay, single lesions. What would I recommend for this? So we're talking about a relatively controlled lesion without multiple tracts, not draining a lot, and where the skin itself isn't really inflamed. In these cases, you don't have to cover them, right? And maybe you just are going to put some Vaseline or some zinc if you want to just soothe and protect the skin from sort of the chafing that occurs between skin folds. But if you did want to cover it, my recommendation is like the silicone dressing, if you can get your hands on that. And and or depending on the size of the wound, some kind of like non-adhesive pad with Vaseline on the pad itself to help it stick a little bit and then secure it. The burn netting was a really good, I didn't think to bring that, but we can maybe find an example of that. But it's basically a sleeve that you can pull on and cut to whatever size, and it's tubular, and it looks like netting, like fish netting, but you can cut it and then you can hold that in place. And it does tend to work pretty well for like securing an arm dressing, where it's going to hold it here. The flap itself is going to fall into your armpit, but it's going to be held up here by the netting. And then that way when you're moving around, it stays. Any questions or thoughts? And then the transparent dressing as well would work well in these areas. A small dressing, one of these, or just your gauze, and that transparent, either one, but the transparent does work well in the groin region because of how it can mold to the skin, the contouring. Next slide. Multiple lesions. So this is your like inflamed, diffuse, area where you've got multiple, maybe open, some not open, but the skin is generally uncomfortable, swollen, painful. You're going to find that these areas are harder to put adhesives to. They're going to react to mostly every adhesive, including silicone. And so this is where you ideally are going to rely on your HydroWear or other creative ways to secure the dressing to your comfort with a piece of clothing. Tips: use tape out. If you're gonna use tape, use as little as possible. You're just trying to get it to stay, and you want to try and maybe make the dressing bigger than the actual area that's inflamed, because if you can get outside of the inflamed area, the adhesive is gonna feel better. It's gonna probably actually hold better too, but also you're not gonna exacerbate your symptoms because you just put adhesive on skin that was already inflamed. So think bigger than your wound and maybe secure that outside of the area of inflammation. We talked about applying Vaseline or zinc directly to the pad and using that as a way to kind of secure it to some degree. And I just wanted to point out, a lot of times you'll get this sort of secondary red rash after removing a dressing, and usually that's a yeast component. We all have yeast on our skin, and when something is covered up or there's a lot of moisture sitting on the skin, the yeast just proliferates a bit more. And so that's where you are gonna need to think about, well, how am I wicking the moisture away from my skin? And do I need to change the dressing more often, or do I need to use a different type of dressing because the one I'm using is just keeping that moisture against my skin too much? And it's going to be like, snake, it's just going to exacerbate everything if we're keeping too much moisture against the skin.
I just want to add one thing to that, Katie, too. When you were talking about making your bandage bigger, so we call it bandage origami, where every day when you go to bandage, you're tucking a different part in, so you're not taping over the same skin every day. So thinking about it and applying your bandage differently to just spread the love of the tape out so that it's not all over the same skin every single day.
Mm-hmm. The way, like turning your dressing a different way, or maybe cutting the adhesive off on one side and letting that side just not have adhesive, are ways to give your skin a little rest. And when you're seeing this too, that's where the clean wash can be helpful, but don't overdo it. I feel like the knee-jerk reaction to, I sense a little odor, I'm gonna now wash my skin 3 times a day with this antimicrobial product. Again, that's gonna exacerbate it. So just reel it in and be like, okay, I'm gonna start using my clean product instead of my, CeraVe, where your CeraVe is maybe your day-to-day gentle cleanser, but now you're seeing this under your arm, and so you're gonna go use your clean because it's got antimicrobial properties, but you're still only gonna use that once a day and maybe twice a day at the max if you have a really severe rash that's real yeasty. Okay, maybe twice a day for a few days, but try not to overdo it, because then it becomes hard to know, have I just irritated my skin because I've gotten too aggressive with it.
Hold on.
5 minutes.
Okay, so with
Wow, that went fast.
the clean and I actually deal with the yeast infection under the underarm, and I've been dealing with that and just trying to understand. It seems to be getting better now, but I use the clean wash, but I also use the ketoconazole.
Thank you. I'm
shampoo.
glad you said it.
Okay.
Yes, Nizoral.
I was gonna ask if that was too much. I didn't know because you just told me I needed to use. I use the clean like twice a day, but I also use that too, and it
Okay.
doesn't seem to make it worse.
It did not? Okay, good. Yeah, so an antifungal wash is usually a dandruff. So if you if you have, this rash, you could try a dandruff shampoo. Again, you want to talk with your dermatologist. That would be key, and they're going to help guide you. But ketoconazole wash can also be found over the counter, non-prescriptive, typically in a dandruff shampoo. And again, go slow, find an area, use it. My recommendation, if you're going to use a dandruff shampoo, is don't use it more than 3 times a week on your skin. And yeah. Okay, next, let's see if I can. I just want to point this out. I'm not sure if you guys can see this very well. It doesn't seem very clear to me from where I'm at, but you'll know when you're reacting to your tape because unlike the rash that I showed you before, which was kind of like in the crevices and is pretty diffuse, this one is the shape of your Band-Aid. When you take it off, you've either torn your skin in the shape of your Band-Aid or the redness is in the exact shape of your tape or your bandage, and that's an adhesive reaction. And so you know that you're just gonna the only way to clear that up is to just stop using an adhesive. You just gotta come up with another way to soothe your skin and let it be for a minute. Okay, next. Active lesions, I think we've kind of addressed all of this. A draining hole is an indication of active inflammation, and we want you to seek care and find a dermatologist that's going to help you work on inflammatory control. That you're never going to find a dressing that's going to heal this wound if the inflammation is not treated. And the goal is to absorb drainage and manage discomfort. Due to active inflammation, use caution with adhesives, etc. We're kind of repeating ourselves. Let's go to the next slide. Same thing here. Let's go to the next slide. Closed lesions, you can cover them. Again, you might want to use something to make sure that adhesive coming off doesn't stick, especially if that boil is just like right there, ready to, maybe you want it to open up, but you might want to cover, wear a foam dressing, but maybe put something in between. Because of that skin being so sensitive and could just tear it off. Next slide. Let's talk about red flags. Devitalized tissue is always a red flag. You should have somebody take a look at that. It can potentiate, that's where you can get a secondary infection, or maybe you already have a secondary infection going on. So be aware of that. A lot of you experience, variable pain, and so I often find as a clinician and maybe as a patient, right, you've experienced where your doctor's like, well, is this more or less or the same amount of pain? And you're like, compared to what? Last week? Today? 3 hours ago? So, but in general, a red flag is like if pain is exceeding your typical level of tolerability. So if you're like, I am outside my tolerable range, because that's going to be different for everybody, that's a red sign of or a red flag that maybe something else is going on. One, probably your disease state is not well managed and we really need to work with you on that. But 2, is there actually a secondary infection? So the pain level and devitalized tissue, those are red flags. And I think that's our last slide. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I have one little quick question. How do you feel about Prisma or Promogram, like the dissolving bandages for the holes?
So that's a collagen. And somebody else asked about collagen as well. My general takeaway on it is it's expensive. And again, usually in cases of hidradenitis, again, it's an inflammatory disease, and collagen is probably going to be expensive, and I wouldn't anticipate it being that helpful. You could try it, but no, I'm going to stick with my original. I don't recommend it unless you've been advised by a wound care center. Because the other thing too is collagen can be from pig, usually from pig, but fish and cow and all kinds of stuff, right? And so I've had a lot of patients react to collagen too. So I would use caution with it, and it's typically an expensive product. Anything else? One more?
What do you recommend with like isopropyl alcohol, or is there anything that you would advise against with that, just to like how to get the wound clean before you bandage it?
Yeah, thank you, and that's a good place to end, which is don't use isopropyl alcohol, don't use hydrogen peroxide, continue to just stick to your skincare regimen of using a hypoallergenic, gentle, or mild soap. Once you get established with a dermatologist, they may have other recommendations. A lot of times hypochlorous acid is recommended. I've gone away from that with my patients, HiPoCleanse, but it is something that has been utilized. But hypoallergenic, wash the area with the same soap you would normally use, and then the clean product, the Diamore solution, I think is a good option if you're looking to replace like hydrogen peroxide. I'd use that Diamore product in the little squeeze bottle, and I think it was like $14. And just don't overdo it. Use it as like the dab treatment that we talked about, or a little rinse, call it good. Less is more with hidradenitis often. The less we do, the better it does, unfortunately. And then I'm here if you have additional questions, and feel free to take samples, and yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie the wound care lady. Woo! All right, next we are going to hear from Nicole with UCB. Make sure to stick around also. We are going to be doing some giveaways after. Yep. Thank you, Nicole.
Hi, everyone. Wasn't that so insightful and informative? I know that when you're dealing with all those different products, it's hard to kind of find your way to like what works for you. So just keep trying. My name is Nicole Williams. I think I met everybody earlier, but in case you weren't in the room, I work at UCB. It's a pharmaceutical company based in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm going to switch this around. It's okay. So I work for patient advocacy, specifically within corporate affairs. And so typically that means is that I don't work a lot with our branded products, but I focus more on disease state awareness, as well as just getting patients to recognize some of the signs and symptoms of HS, and then also to get them to the right kind of dermatologist. So it's really important for early diagnosis, we know, with these inflammatory disease states. So we want to just keep educating as much as possible. So we are, like I said, based in Atlanta, Georgia. We have a global headquarters in Brussels, Belgium. And then also we have different sites across the United States. We have offices in Boston, Seattle, DC, and also Raleigh area, which is kind of like that research triangle in North Carolina. So my role really is to interface with a lot of the patient advocacy organizations and support them. So if they have different programs, they come to me for funding. So I love just helping these organizations, because in HS it is a lot of grassroots efforts, because they haven't been established like the National Psoriasis Foundation or other foundations that have been around for a really long time. So I like to help with some of the infrastructure too with some of those organizations. It's really been great to see like HS Connect grow and flourish over the years, and that's because of all of you just being really engaged and showing up. Keep doing that, because that looks good for sponsorship too, so Burnley can keep those funds coming. I will say, like I said earlier, that we did sponsor the Find Us campaign with HS Connect, the Empower conference, which is currently happening now, as well as the Healing Space. So something with UCB, we do like to take a holistic approach to treating patients. So having things like mental health taken care of, as well as like diet and nutrition, sleep, inflammation, all of those things, because we know it's not just your skin. It's how do you take care of your whole self when you're dealing with a chronic illness. And we know that a lot of patients that have HS, they also have other autoinflammatory disorders. And so you might have some joint pain or something like that. So all of that is kind of like interconnected a lot because of the inflammation that's going on in your body. Something else that we've been working on at UCB is something a program that I just started called the HS Advocate Community Program. And one of our goals this year and going forward is really to normalize what HS is. We want people in the general population to know HS just like people know what psoriasis is, or eczema, or atopic dermatitis. It should be a household name. It shouldn't be something that people go 20 to 60 years not knowing what it is, and having dermatologists and other doctors tell them that it's not this. Even when I have patients, I know Ashley has been to the doctor, her grandmother had been to the doctor, and basically telling them that I think I have HS, and they've been denied. Like, no, we don't think that's true. So we want to change that trajectory for patients so patients can get diagnosed a lot sooner. So that's part of the HS Advocate Community Program. We just had one last week in Atlanta with City Hall. So we went to the mayor's office and said, hey, this is a condition that happens a lot in a lot of different subpopulations. So sometimes it over-indexes in women. We know men have it as well, but it over-indexes in women, some minority populations. So how can we get in front of those patient populations, or not even patient, just general population, to help educate people so that if you have somebody in your family that's in your network, your friend circle, you can help them identify what this skin condition is. And then I'll end with 3 more things. The HS Coalition is another organization that we do support, and HS Connect is actually part of the board on some of the community level memberships. So it's an organization that has pharma as well as physicians, patients, and other patient advocacy organizations that kind of come together and really advocate for patients, whether it's a policy issue, an insurance issue, getting laser hair removal as part of insurance covered treatment. Those are some things that the coalition is working on. So if you're interested, feel free to look it up on the internet. It's HS Coalition. If you want to join, we are expanding membership all the time. It is something that UCB is not, they don't run this coalition. They're just basically a part of it or help fund it. And we really encourage you to really support it. We also have a campaign called Make History, which was a patient-led, disease state awareness campaign. And there's a couple of advocates. I don't think they're here today. Sydney was at home with the flu, but we will work with different patients to be part of our branded and unbranded campaigns. So the Make History campaign was one of the first campaigns that we came out with. It's completely unbranded, but you'll find different tools and resources on the website. And it actually showcases real patients. And I know that is something that the community loves. And then we also have branded opportunities with UCB. And there's a couple of people here, Hannah as well as Shakira, have been part of our branded campaigns with one of the drugs that we sell, which is in the biologic space. And then lastly, I do work with a lot of different patients here in the room and people that are not here as well, but for internal and external speaking opportunities. Sometimes our president comes into town from Brussels and says, I want to hear directly from patients. So I really try to curate an experience on whatever topic that we're wanting to discuss, whether it's health disparities or telehealth. I like to bring patients, real patients in to really talk about the things that you're going through, some of the challenges, some of the successes, and so that we can hear directly from you. So if you're interested, I'm always looking for patients, but come see me throughout the rest of the time here. I'll be here until Tuesday. And thank you so much. And see you at the not fashion show, it's a red carpet show.
Thank you so much. Oh, hold on. There we go. Thank you so much, Nicole and UCB, for all you do and the work that has helped HS Connect be possible, and for the broader work as well for the HS community. It means a lot. Now, who likes free things? We are going to be doing giveaways. Hannah will be helping pass out. We are going to do 10 for now. We are going to be doing them every day, so make sure to come back tomorrow, as well as Tuesday, correct? I don't even know what day of the week it is. Thank you. Tuesday. So we're going to be doing giveaways every day. We're going to be doing 10 right now. So listen for your number. Remember the tickets that you got when you checked in and pull them out.
Wait, hold on. Does everybody have a ticket?
Okay, good call. Thank you. Thank you. Hold that thought. While we are waiting, I also want to remind y'all, on our schedule, we have our red carpet dinner at 7 p.m. However, come back at 6 because we'll be doing a networking and happy hour where we have our own signature cocktail, the Empowerita. So make sure to enjoy that. Have some of those. I will be participating. And yes, so we will see you back at 6 once we do the giveaways. And thank you very much, Brinley. That is so... I'll have one for you. We can make one. Yes. Brinley, one more. Bless you. Okay. Are we good? Okay. All right. Shake it up. Okay. Our first one, 52. Hey! Woo! Yay! All right. Number 2. 40. 40. No 40. Going once. Okay. Ooh! Damn. 43. 43! Woo! Congratulations, y'all. Also, thank you, Hannah. Full size. Who's getting full size? 57. Woo! I love shaking it. Oh yeah, we're shaking some other things. I thought I did this already. It's one off. What are we giving away, Hannah? HS Connect Cup. Woo! Yes, cold and hot. 53. Woo! Beautiful. Number 45, what are you getting? Woo! 45! Okay, we got a pattern. Ooh, this is fun. Dermaleave, number 17. Woo! Okay, we got 4 more. Let's make it worth it. All right. Number 48. 48, woo! Bingo! Speaker 26. Woo! Oops. We will collect that. Thank you, Shakira. Hot and cold cup. Yes, thank you, hon. All right. The penultimate, 55. Woo! 5. Woo! Okay, I'm making this last one really worth it. Woo! Shake it up for our last speaker. 58. Woo! Yay! She's a mind reader on top of everything else. All right, fabulous. Thank you all so much. We're going to be doing this again tomorrow. But as of now, go around, enjoy the booths, mingle, network. We're going to have our bar and our signature cocktail ready at 6 p.m. And then at 7 p.m., we will be starting our red carpet dinner. So I will see y'all then. Thank you so much. I should announce that. Thank you. Yes. And yes, as a reminder, the red carpet dinner will be in this conference area we've been in.